Hey, what's up? Hello, Katie here, and we're here to do my June wrap up. But what's really funny about this is I have a vlog for literally like every single book that I read in June. So I'm not gonna go like super in depth because clearly I already have vlogs where I go more in depth on those, mainly because for June I did an entire like month long reading vlog for reading Pride or like LGBTQIA plus books. So most of the books on here are gonna go toward that video, but let's just jump in and see what I ended up rating them, because sometimes in my vlogs, well, all the time in my vlogs, I always end up just being like, right after I finish it, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I thought. And then 2 days later, I'm like, I might bump that down half a star. So let's just jump in and see how it all added up. The first book I have a actual like dedicated reading vlog because it is a sponsored vlog, and that's going to be from Literati. So this is Of Women and Salt by Gabriela Garcia. This video should be coming out like July 6th, but I'm not going to go super into it. It's just like this subscription service that asked me to do a video for them, and it's about like a generational story of all these women that like immigrated like from Cuba and the difficulty that they've had and how that has like shaped them, and then their daughters and their daughters and all that stuff. I ended up in the video, I think I said I gave this 4 stars, but I ended up giving this 3.5 stars because it's very good and it's very short and it really packs a punch, but I don't like think about it. So I feel like even though at the time it was a 4 star, in reality it's more like a 3.5. Another video that won't be out yet, and that is going to be July new releases vlog. So that's 3 books that came out in July or at the end of June that I was very excited about, really wanted to read. The first of which being The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. He also wrote The Silent Patient, and he's a big like mystery thriller kind of author. The Silent Patient won the Goodreads Choice Award last year for Best Mystery Thriller, or is it just Best Mystery? Anyway, I didn't really like that book. I gave it 2 stars because I absolutely hated the main character, like the guy, so much, but the plot twist was really good. And I actually ended up feeling the opposite about this, where I really liked the characters. I found them all very intriguing. The atmosphere was very interesting. Everything about it was so interesting, but I hated the plot twist. Like, I really did not like the end of this book at all. And it was like just such a giant letdown. Like, it had a similar letdown for me, like how the ending of Final Girls did, where I was like, what? Like, you had all this potential. Like, Alex Michaelides had so much potential in this book. And I was like, that's not what I would have done. I mean, I still gave it, the thing is, in the video I gave it 4 stars because I really enjoyed reading this. And oh my God, the chapters are so freaking short. They're all like a page long. Are you kidding me? I'm obsessed. So that's really good. And I think that the potential of this book was fantastic. But this is another one where I'm like, is this 3.5 stars? Because the ending was just so anticlimactic and like kind of boring. It just like wasn't that good. But the rest of it is good. Like, I recommend this to people, being like, yeah, it's good. I'm not going to tell you not to read it, but I'm not going to like keep the book. Do you know what I'm saying? The next one is another one I ended up bumping down half a star. Like, I always do this. And that's Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I gave it 5 stars in the vlog. I'm actually going to bump it down to 4.5 because this book is absolutely stunning. I know I've heard a lot of people say that they were disappointed comparatively between this, Daisy Jones and the Six, and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is literally right there, if you can even see it. It's like prominent on my shelf. All by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And that this one, that a lot of people thought like it just didn't hold a candle to the other 2. I beg to differ because I think that they're all such different candles. Like, they're fantastically written. All 3 of them are fantastically written. The character description, the character arcs are fantastic. And this is the book where she does the best character arcs, because if you're talking about a single person study, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is the best character study. But this is like a group character study, and it's fantastic. In this book, oh my God, I didn't tell you what The Maidens was about. Hold on. Good God, Katie. This is embarrassing, is what it is. The Maidens is about this girl. She messages like her aunt and is like, hey, there's like girls that are going missing and dying at the school. I think it's this professor. And when the aunt shows up, is like, what's going on? The professor is really obsessed with Greek mythology and has all these like young college-age girls who wear all white, like white dresses, and follow him around. And he calls them the Maidens. So creep, so sketch. It's very like occult, like culty vibes. And the aunt is like trying to figure out what is happening to these girls. Does that premise sound amazing? It does. The follow through. not as great. Anyway, let's talk about Malibu Rising. Malibu Rising is about Nick Riva's children. Nick Riva is one of the husbands in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. He's like a rock star, very famous. He has a couple kids with this girl that he's with for a little while or whatever. And some things happen in their lives that give them like early childhood trauma, you know? And you're following 2 girls and 2 boys, but one of the boys is like not their biological brother. It's just another one of Nick Riva's kids. And I found that very interesting. It was very Jon Snow-esque. It's very good. And how these kids grew up like alone basically and had to survive on their own and be really smart and like be such a strong family unit, and then how they all became famous. Like they're all famous in different ways, and they hold this crazy Malibu party every year, and it tells you in the beginning of the book that by the end of the book the house is going to burn to the ground, and you don't know why. It's after this insane rager, and I love this book. I loved it. I thought it was so good. Like, I really thought it was so good. And like, I didn't put that many tabs because I was just like, I need to read it as fast as possible. I need to know what's going to happen. Like, I stayed up until like 3:30 a.m. because I was like, I need to know what's going to happen to Nina. Like, I love her. I love her. She's amazing. And I felt very like I related to her character a lot. So I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. And finally, a rating that didn't change, 5 stars to Finley Donovan, It's Killing It by El Casameno. This cover is beautiful. I love it. And this book, please go watch that vlog when it comes out, please. I swear, I was like squealing for like half an hour of a vlog. Maybe like 15 minutes of a vlog. It's just me going, ah! This book is so good. I have not heard a single person give this below 5 stars, and it is deserving. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. The freaking ride. I don't even want to tell you anything about the book. Like, I'm going to give a brief summary, but like, I literally gave like a 2-sentence summary to Grace, and she bought the audiobook, which she never does. She bought the audiobook and she read it in 1 day. I was like, yeah. And she was like Snapchat messaging me being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And I was at work and I was messaging her back like, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Maybe it's a clue. I don't know. Anyway, what is this about? It's a mystery thriller, and we're following our girl, Finley Donovan, who is an author, and she's down on her luck. Her husband is cheating on her and went and is like with this new mistress now. She has 2 very young children, and she has no money, like completely bankrupt, and she's trying to sell a book. So she needs to get money because she's going to lose her kids. So she goes to a Panera Bread, you know, that's how every great thriller starts, to be honest. And she's meeting with her like literary agent, and she's talking to her about, like, she writes mystery novels. So she's writing or talking to this woman about her detective, like in her novel, and like the murders that are happening in this, but they never say it's a book. They're saying like, oh, the crime or like the act or whatever. And she's trying to like get the literary agent to like get her more money for the book that she's writing, but somebody in the Panera Bread hears this conversation and thinks that Finley Donovan is an assassin and tries to hire her to assassinate someone. That's the best concept I've ever heard, and I can't tell you anything else. There's so many twists, so many twists, so many twists. I'm freaking obsessed. I love it. And I just found out today, I knew there was gonna be a sequel, but it got picked up as a 4-book. A 4-book. I can't. It's gonna be 4 books. I'm so excited, and it also got picked up to be a TV show. Guys, this is a favorite. I love this, and if you just want something that's just gonna like, it's gonna make your heart freaking soar because it's so fun and it's so exhilarating. You could binge this. If you're looking for a book to read in 1 day, Finley Donovan is killing it. And now we'll go into books that I read for my LGBTQIA+ monthly read along, and that was You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This is the first one that I read, and in the video I gave it 5 stars. And then now I'm ending up giving it 4.5 stars, only because I am not thinking about the book as much as I feel like I should, having given it 5 stars, but it's still absolutely fantastic. I never read contemporary fiction. Well, I say never, but like, I just don't tend to enjoy it. But this one, I highly recommend. It's so, so good, especially as a sapphic love story. Beautiful. And also, it's a Black main character. You've got everything in this. So what this is, it's really funny. So it's about this girl who, she is in high school, and she wants to get into this very like prestigious college, and she needs to get a scholarship. But when that falls through and she doesn't get the scholarship, she's like, what am I going to do? So her friends are like, hey, you do know that if you win prom queen, you get like $10,000, because her town is like prom obsessed. Like, we all know about small towns. We all know, like, it's like basketball and prom. That's all anybody cares about. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, okay. And her friends try to campaign to get her to win prom queen. That's already amazing. But then there's a new girl in school who's also competing to become prom queen. And I mean, it might be a romance. It might be a little bit of a romance. But then you're also having like, the school's like pretty homophobic, you know? And they're like, oh, well, you can't dance with somebody of the same sex, and you can't win prom queen if there's like, if you're gay, basically. So they have to like kind of hide it and act like they're not gay. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's so easy. Like, honestly, this just flips and flips and flips like the pages so quickly. And there's a lot of like texts and tweets and stuff like that that like go around in here, like multimedia format, and it's really good. And I definitely highly recommend this for a contemporary fiction. And then I picked up on my Kindle Check Please, Volume 1. This is a graphic novel, and it's like a sports gay love story. So it's about this boy named Biddy, or Biddle. He's so freaking sweet and cute and precious, and he loves to bake, and he has like a vlogging YouTube channel talking about his experience on this hockey team, getting into this school with like a hockey scholarship, joining the hockey team, and his relationship with all the boys on the hockey team, as well as his relationship with Jack, who is like a hockey prodigy and is all broody, but like a love story between them. And one of them's like the sweetest, cutest, tiny little like cupcake of a blonde boy. And then Jack is like this tall, broody hockey player that's so hot. And it's just, it's great. Also, why did I keep imagining Jack as like Keanu Reeves? I don't know if anybody can relate to me on that, but that was me. It's really cute. It's really sweet. I really enjoyed it. I had thought that I was going to give it 5 stars, but I bumped it down and gave it 4 stars because, in my opinion, it's way too long. It's way too long. Like, there's only 2 volumes. I understand that. And you're going through 4 years of his life. And then the second one might go past that. But so it's like 2 years in one volume. And you go through so much stuff. And like, here's the thing. It's fantastic. Like, the relationships between all the guys and then their captain, who's a girl, are fantastic. Like, absolutely fantastic. And the healthy masculinity, like the positive masculinity, is like unparalleled. Like, I've never seen a masculine energy that's like positive like it is in this volume of a graphic novel or of any book. It's so good. And the relationship between Biddle and Jack is like so fantastic, and I love it. But the book is too damn long, and there's too many words on each page, and it talks about hockey, and I don't really care. And then the end of the book had like, I shit you not, like 40 pages of tweets. That's too much. That's boring. Like, I was like, are we still doing this? Good God. Oh my God. So I was struggling so hard finishing that one. And then actually that leads into the next one, which is volume 2 of Check Please, which I ended up DNFing at 30% because I was steadily reading it for like a week to a week and a half, and I only got to 30% because the book is that long. It's so long, and it oh my God, it just annoyed me. I was like, I want to know what happens. I really do. The characters are so cute, so precious. I want to know, but I couldn't get myself to like slog through it. It was just excessive. It was too much. And unfortunately, we are going to lead our way into another DNF, which is A Latsaway by Darcy Little Badger. I think in the video I called her Tracy. Don't look at me. Anyway, A Latsaway. This is an asexual main character, and on page, I don't know if it is, she's called asexual, but it is like described in length that she's asexual. I DNF'd this at 60%. I was so bored. I was so bored. I didn't care. I did not care about anything that was happening at all, like, period. I didn't care. And that was such a disappointment to me. Like, this might be my biggest disappointment of 2021 so far. I really wanted to love this. It's an asexual main character. It is illustrated by Ravina Kai, who did the illustrations for How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories, which her illustrations, amazing. And I wanted to love it so bad. I know that like Gabby loved it and she doesn't love fantasy. Kayla loved it and she doesn't like necessarily read like younger, I don't know if she does. What am I talking about? It just didn't, I think that was something she didn't know she was going to love and she ended up loving it. I could not have cared less. I couldn't connect to the story, like the plot, the characters, the world. It just didn't make any sense. And I didn't like care enough to like really try to make it make sense. So that's unfortunate. But the other book that I picked up right after that is She Drives Me Crazy by Kelly something. I don't know. The cover's going to be over here somewhere. Anyway, this one I really, really enjoyed. I gave this 4 stars. I really, really loved it. This is a sapphic romance, and it is YA. It is set in high school, and it is about a basketball player who was with another basketball player, these 2 girls, and then her girlfriend decides that she wants to move to a different high school because they have a better basketball team. And she's like, "You're just going to leave me? Okay." And then they break up, and it's this kind of like toxic backstory. But then the basketball player like runs into the head cheerleader's car, and they have this toxic backstory as well of perceived slights that have happened like through their high school career. So that has happened, but when she runs into her, the cheerleader's car needs to be repaired. So the basketball player has to drive her around. So it's like an enemies to lovers kind of situation, but then it's also like beneficial dating. Like the cheerleader, the basketball player is like, we should pretend to date, like a fake dating thing, so that if you come to my basketball games, the other cheerleaders will come to my basketball games. And if you come, football players will come and other people will come. And then our basketball team will play better because people are cheering for us. And then maybe we can actually be a good team. It's very interesting. I really loved the characters. I thought that they were very in depth for being like supposedly cliche. I didn't feel like they were. I thought it was very entertaining, very fun, very funny, fast-paced. I really enjoyed it. I think I read it in like a day and a half, and I wasn't even listening to it that fast. Like, I just genuinely liked it. This next book that I read, I actually listened to on audio, and when I was halfway through it, I bought it, but it took a really long time to come on eBay because it's the UK edition, and that is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. I'm obsessed with this cover. I'm obsessed. Like, you don't understand. I'm obsessed. What? Are you kidding me? Like, it's stunning. It's stunning. And there are such beautiful illustrations in this book. And you know it's a good book when they have one of these. This book belongs to, I'm deceased. Let me see if I can flip to like an illustration of, oh wait, here we go. Are you, what? I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's so cute. I'm literally, let's have a moment for the spine. It's amazing. Okay. This is a book that is really good on audio too, by the way. Like, I would say they're equally as good. Like, listening to it and reading it is an equal experience in my opinion, because I did both. This is a very complicated book. I gave this 4.5 stars. I was considering giving it 5 stars, but I felt like it was kind of long, which isn't its fault. It might be 5 stars. I don't know. I'm like, it's either 4.5 or 5. This is like a gothic horror, like mild horror. Like, it's really not that horrific, but it's like a mild horror gothic literature kind of thing. It's very interesting. It's a story inside a story inside a story inside a story. So basically we are following a couple like different timelines. We're following a timeline of these 2 girls. Oh, but real quick, when I said LGBTQIA+, take all of that acronym and it's all in this book. Every single character is queer. All of them. Everyone. Every single character that has a name in this book is gay. And I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And it's not like, oh my God, there's a lot of gay people around here. It's like, oh, you're gay too? Bet. You want to make out? Like, oh, there's polyamory too. Like, bitch. Anyway, this is about, you're following the story of this kind of legend where there's these 2 girls from way back when at this boarding school for all girls. Love to see it. And they created this Plain Bad Heroine Society because they read this book by this author who was very like feminist. Like, in my opinion, it was almost like a Mary Shelley kind of thing. Like, they named it like the Mary Shelley Club. So they create this thing, Plain Bad Heroine Society, where they all meet up and they read this book. But there's 2 girls that are gay, and their bodies are found stung to death by bees with a copy of the book laying next to their body. So that happens, and then a little while later, other girls start showing up dead, being stung to death by bees. So over the next like 2 years, a bunch of girls is happening to, so the school has to shut down. And then there is a girl in this book that I keep wanting to call Marion, and now I'm like, I can't remember if her name is Marion. Merritt. It's Merritt. Good God. Okay. It's Merritt, Avery, and Harper. So Merritt is an author, and she writes a book about these girls. And the book becomes super popular, and she's like 27 or something. Book becomes super, super popular. And then there is a director and a writer and everything that wants to create a movie about the book, about this true story. So they ask her to come along, and then they hire Avery and Harper, who are actresses. And one of them is like the daughter of a really famous, like, kind of scream queen actress, but has never really done anything herself. And then the other girl is like super famous. Like, she's like, not Emma Roberts. What's, is it Emma Roberts? Yeah, Emma Roberts. Okay, she's like Emma Roberts, like the girl that was on Scream Queens. That's kind of like what her character's like. They both get hired, and they think that what they're doing is that they're being cast as these two queer girls to play in a movie, but really it's like a mockumentary. It's like the Blair Witch Project, but they don't know that. And it's so good. And like, even though I'm like, yeah, it was kind of long, I'm like, even though it's a story inside a story inside a story, I cared about all of the characters. I cared about all of them. I loved the storyline. I thought that like the inserts from the book were fantastic. I think the illustrations were fantastic. It's really funny. And the characters are so well like fleshed out, in my opinion. And they're not like angels. They're not at all. They are really annoying sometimes, but really good. And another thing that I would want to say about this is that it has kind of like a series of unfortunate events vibe of the narration. And I know that might sound weird, but it's like the author is telling the story like, well, for our observant readers, you would notice that that's the same shirt she was wearing a couple chapters ago. Or like, oh, but you already knew that, didn't you, reader? I love that. I love it. And also the bee thing, I just love it. I love it. I love it. 4.5 stars, possibly 5 stars. Not totally sure, but definitely one of my like favorite queer books I've ever read. And oh my God, I've been talking about, how long have I've been talking about this book for 5 minutes. And then let's talk about all these in one go. The last 5 books are going to be a bunch by Alice Oseman. So this is the Heartstopper series as well as the 2 main characters from Heartstopper, but this is a technically like a solitaire novella. Solitaire is another book that Alice Oseman wrote. I think it's her first book. Yeah, it's her first book, but I have not read that book. But apparently Nick and Charlie are side characters in that book, and this is a novella about them. Now, unfortunately, I'm only giving this one 4 out of 5 stars, and to be honest, it's like a 3-star. Which is so sad to say. But I'm gonna give it 4 stars because of all the illustration. I just don't think, like, I adore Nick and Charlie so much, but I just didn't really care about this story. Like, I liked hearing a little bit more about their life after the Heartstopper volumes that we have had, but I just don't feel like their characters work written out like this in a story. They just don't. Like, they don't come across the same way. I don't like reading them this way. It just didn't work for me. I didn't really love it. This one is following Nick and Charlie, who, sorry, real quick, just to let you know what Nick and Charlie, their whole deal is about in Heartstopper, is it is about these 2 boys in grammar school who meet each other and become fast friends, and then even faster fall into something much more romantic. And it's so beautiful. It's so sweet. I love them. I am obsessed with them. But this one is following them when Nick has graduated and he's going to university, and Charlie is very upset because he doesn't want to lose him, and they're trying to decide whether long distance is going to work out. It was fine, but it wasn't even close to like what I wanted it to be. I just don't think it works in this format, and that's all I'm going to say. The rest of them, I don't even need to tell you. They're all 5 stars. They are all 5 stars shooting into the sun. These 2, or technically the first 3 are rereads for me. The 4th one I had not read anything of because the 3rd one I read on Webtoon, but then I ended up rereading all of these, and I have a lot of live footage of me reading these in that vlog if you want to watch it. I do want to apologize because I lost the footage of reading this one, so that's unfortunate, but I basically sobbed the entire way through this. This is so beautiful. Like, the first book is about them meeting and starting to like be enamored with each other and be like, is that an option? I don't know. And then this book is about Nick realizing that, like, coming to terms with his sexual identity and trying to come out to people, and Charlie being very anxious about that because he had a very horrible coming out experience. And then the 3rd book delves into Charlie's like mental disorders and his eating disorders, and Nick finding out that like just because you love someone doesn't mean that you can save them from themselves. And then the fourth book, the fourth book really dives into like his eating disorder and his mental disorder so much, and it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. It's so good. What do I need to do to get you guys to read this book? What do you need me to do? Do you want me to just make a video where I tell you everything that happens on every single page? Is that what you want me to do? Because I'll do it. Okay, that is going to wrap up the 15 books that I read in June. Technically, 2 of them were DNFs, but I got a fair way into it, so I'm going to count that as a success. I mean, even 13 books is still pretty damn good. If you got this far into the video, I would say, too bad we don't have a pastel heart, because that would be, leave the B emoji, for Plain Bad Heroines. Leave the B emoji if you've gotten this far into the video and you want to leave a comment. That would be amazing. If you want to follow me on Goodreads or Instagram, they are going to be linked down below. If you want to subscribe to this channel, that would be freaking amazing as well. And hopefully in the next week or 2, you'll be seeing Summerween content from me, because I'm so excited. Summerween is going to be the 2nd through the 8th of July. If you want to participate in that with me, I would love that. I have some plans of working, but other than that, I hope you're having an amazing day, evening, night, dusk, dawn, whatever you're having, and I will see you in a video coming very soon. Bye.